It all began when Karen decided to track me down for supposedly putting phony license plates on my car in her typical intrusive manner. She arrived at my house brandishing a pile of paperwork and asserting that I had broken HOA regulations and that my license plates were somehow invalid. Although it initially appeared to be a small irritation, Karen was unaware of the person she was interacting with. Every license plate, registration, and car record linked to me is completely legitimate, correctly recorded, and validated. I am the daughter of the DMV director. Unaware of my familial ties, Karen tried to lecture me about fines and compliance. She even threatened to increase the penalties if I didn't follow the rules, insisting that the HOA had the power to enforce them. I listened patiently, allowing her to go on as I watched and recorded everything. Despite her obvious conceit and attitude of entitlement, I had all the power I could possibly require. As she persisted in her argument, I clarified that my plates were completely lawful and that any attempt to impose fines or interfere would be considered harassment and maybe criminal obstruction. As she became aware that her presumptions about authority were wholly incorrect, her expression shifted from smug confidence to bewilderment. Karen called neighbors and tried to mobilize support because she was not going to back down. I expected this strategy because I thought the HOA could scare me. I kept a thorough legal record of her harassment by documenting every word she said, every action she took, and every attempt she made to coerce others. Every conversation was recorded and timestamped so that any subsequent assertions she made could be refuted with hard data. Karen, who was frustrated, tried to aggravate the situation by phonily citing infractions and asking for assistance from the local police. Calmly, I presented evidence that my plates were lawful and her assertions were unfounded. Her credibility instantly started to erode when officers realized that her methods were harassment rather than enforcement. After observing her careless actions, the HOA began to distance themselves from her. The community began to notice Karen's overreach, and anyone watching could see that her power existed only in her own mind. She was isolated and legally vulnerable as a result of her repeated attempts to threaten and fine me, which had backfired horribly. Karen and the HOA would face instant legal action if they attempted to tamper with my cars, license plates, or property after that day. My family relationships, legal power, and thorough documentation made the ideal barrier against harassment. Karen's boldness had clashed with authority and planning, and she had lost badly. There was no mistaking the lesson. Legitimate authority, paperwork, and strategic planning are more important than entitlement and audacity. Karen thought she could use threats and fines to scare me. However, she overlooked the fact that I had the legal right and the foresight to record whatever she did. Because, in the end, harassment is transformed into opportunity through planning, legal authority, and strategic documentation. Karen's attempts to track me down for phony license plates only served to reveal her carelessness, put her in danger of legal repercussions, and permanently undermine her intimidating abilities. My rights, vehicles, and property were all completely safeguarded, which is evidence of planning, authority, and unquestionable legitimacy.